I am looking for the next level Bucky plays coming out at Masters, man.
Ninja said he's looking forward to Bucky kill. Ninja, y'all shouldn't have done an interview with Ninja, okay? The Bucky man, listen, you win your pistol round, you expect to have a breezing eco half by, and then you just have a dude sitting around a corner with a Bucky that just... And there you go, 3 of your teammates are gone! It's just insanely frustrating to play up against. Terrible!
It feels so good when you make the play with the gun, because I started purchasing it recently as well.
There he goes, baby, leading the charge. With the Bucky, baby!
Oh. There's nothing greater than just a nasty, like, double or triple kill, you know, with a Bucky. So yeah, I'm looking for some big Bucky plays, man.
Day 4 of NA Masters continues on as we get ready to kick it into our second match of the day in the upper bracket.
The match.
It's going to be the match. No kidding. It's 100 Thieves versus Sentinels, a game that all of us have been waiting to see. And of course, it comes at the tail end of the last day of the first week. My name is Bach. I'll be your host throughout the show. Joining me on broadcast all weekend long, Vansili, Veli, and Potter. Looking at this upcoming match, though, we finally get to see a team that's touted as #1 in North America based on their victory at First Strike, and the team that at one point in time held that crown and even statistically speaking could claim it in Sentinels. So, but there's obviously a catch. They've now added some more firepower, bringing TenZ into the roster, and we saw what that did day 1, Vansili.
Yeah, TenZ for Sentinels, Ethan for 100 Thieves, head-to-head, it's gonna be a banger, and Sentinels, they definitely banged. We saw TenZ yesterday when they played against Luminosity on Icebox, how good he could be. I'm just looking forward for this one, man. It's going to be a difficult matchup, I think, for Sentinels, though, if they're going to have to try to compare these two teams.
Interesting choice of words there, Alex. They definitely banged. Okay. We'll go ahead and take a look at the roster here. 400 Thieves. As it's not exactly the same roster as they had, a more recent change saw Dicey get dropped from the roster and Ethan come along. And we heard it. When a player like Ethan becomes available, Potter, you jump at the opportunity to pull them into the roster.
Absolutely. I mean, and Sue brought it up as well yesterday, the fact that sometimes when you look at a player like Ethan, you think he might be a boomer, but he's only 20, 21 years old. He's that kind of experience. You can't even put a price on it, right? The fact that he's been competing at the top level in Counter-Strike for so many years, that means a lot for this 100 Thieves squad. It's just adding another big brain to all the big brains they already have.
Yeah, sorry, Christine. I was just laughing real quick because you talked about there's no price tag to it, but I think with Ethan joining 100 Thieves and the experience, exactly. You just mentioned that experience, the pedigree that he brings to this roster. It was a fat check.
Looking specifically at this roster, though, Christine, one of the players we really wanted to profile was not a player that is really fitting that role of a duelist or an entry, playing more of a supporting role, and that's our man Nitro.
Yeah, for sure. Nitro, not only as the supportive element, but sometimes with the click of just a split second, he's able to turn into either a battle sage. Sometimes he's got an operator in his hand. And that's the great thing of having a player like Nitro to kind of make sure he fills the gaps, fills the holes within the rounds, and he's able to quickly turn it around, whether he's on a stage wall in the back lines, holding off angles so that his teammates can space into the sites, or quickly turning it into a battle sage, throwing a slow orb, and getting involved, getting into the mix, finding entries even. And on the defensive side, he's using the sage to really discourage fast-paced strats, comboed with steel, with those killjoy mollies. It's a beautiful, creative thing that 100 Thieves are trying to get into motion, and they showcase exactly the potential of what these kinds of compositions can deliver.
Looking at this team, there's just so much potential, but one of the things we actually had Sue ask Hiko at one point was, how does Nitro switching off of the Omen potentially hurt him? Because we saw him play so well. We called him the multi-kill king during the challenger stages when he was playing Nitro specifically on Icebox. And he kind of said, I actually think it helps him not having to play that role. Like, we kind of had him just kind of pigeonholed into playing that one role when he's far more versatile and flexible for the team, so he can be a little bit more pliable and stretch to different roles. And Ethan will likely be the same way over the long term, but in the short term, he's filling in the role of Omen well. Looking at the Sentinels roster as well, we can take a peek at the 5-man roster that we'll see in server today, and we know who we've got. It's a ton of firepower, Veli. We've got Sick, and now he's got that combo with our boy Tens.
Let me talk about Sick for a second, though. I mean, this roster, you look at them, they're all stars in their own way. I mean, even Shazam, Zoms, Dapper, it doesn't even matter at this point. But Sick, in my opinion, is the most important person on this team, and he's the glue that holds them together. You take a look at the last series, and yes, Ethan, Nitro, and them, they could switch off of different agents. They could be versatile, but it's Sick. 6-2 when it comes to first bloods on the Ascent. He dropped 16 with Sage for the 2.0 KD when it came to first bloods. The second map, the third map, the icing on top, he went, what, 16-9 with Sova? But there's something more important there. There was something on the Ascent that we all saw. Remember when he used to run it back with Phoenix on the other side when everybody pushed B and he went in, was able to get kills and distract the whole team? That showed the world that now Sentinels can aggressively do that and keep teams guessing. It can be either Sick or Tens, but not only that, but Sick, even on flank watch, and the possibilities of that, going against Nitros, going against the Steels of the world, that is the thing I am waiting to see, and Sick is going to be the X factor.
And just to add real quick to that too, whenever Tens was top fragging, everybody was talking about Tens. The one that was silently killing everybody else was Sick. You look at the amount of kills that he's gotten that series, as Veli just mentioned before, he was way high up there too.
Yeah, Sick actually is a player that we've spoken about all year long, Silly. Heavily underrated and incredibly overlooked as a player. Constantly hiding in the shadow of another player, but at times better than that player and more versatile. You know, we watched him in the Winter Championships at the start of January, and he had 5 maps with 5 agents across 3 different roles. That's insane. Very few players can do that, and he's still top frag for the team across the series. That is kind of unheard of. Now, we're going to dig into the meat and potatoes of the series, where we're going to be heading, the map pool. What maps are we likely to see? We saw some things yesterday that kind of caught us off guard. Maps being played in the Sentinel series on day 1 that we didn't necessarily anticipate, and it's going to happen again. So we have Ascent coming in for 100 Thieves, but we have Haven coming out for Sentinels, and that was the map we were kind of caught off guard by in that first series for Sentinels, Potter.
Yeah, this is interesting. Sentinels busting out the Haven. Because all I think about on Haven and Sentinels is Shazam on top of the B, in the B bomb, in the B site, holding down the mid lines. And I guess my biggest question is Shazam going to be on 10s? Is Shazam going to not be on 10s, but is Shazam going to be on Jet again? Or is he going to bust out the Sova? Because we saw the tweet, right? He didn't even get to play Sova on Ascent at all. That was his first time. He couldn't get a ranked match in before. How many reps has he gotten on Haven on a different agent, you know? These are good problems to have, though, for Sentinels, I think. The fact that they're able to play around with their strengths and the fact that they now have an upgraded firepower in 10s to play around with these kinds of different agent compositions. But it's still a curious problem to have for Sentinels.
And that's the thing, right? When you look at the map pool, technically Haven is a strong map for Sentinels, historically speaking. But we're just not really sure what to expect. That's why it's kind of catching us off guard, because you might think, oh, maybe we'll end up in some of the maps we saw yesterday. It'll be a little bit easier for us to understand what's going to happen. We don't really know. There's so many question marks with Sentinels and how they're going to approach every different map, because we're going to see a juggle up of the roles, as sometimes 10s will take the Jet role and sometimes they'll hand it off. Let's do predictions real quick. Veli, what do you got for me?
I got Sentinels. I don't think you'll be able to stop this team, and I think their unpredictability will be able to clash well against 100 Thieves. I'm saying it's going to a 3rd map.
Potter?
Oh, this one's tough. I'm going to say 100 Thieves. I'm going to say 100 Thieves here. I'm going with 100 Thieves. I've been so wrong with these predictions so far, but I got to believe that 100 Thieves, their entire game plan should be able to put the stop to Sentinels. But listen, if Tens is going to just run around smurfing on Reyna again, anything is possible.
That's silly.
I'm going to have to give this edge to 100 Thieves. I think in the past broadcasts and my past experience of casting Sentinels in 2021, whenever I saw Ascent and Icebox in there, I still feared for that team because that's how they lost series versus Immortals versus LG. They have improved, though, and they've definitely improved with 10s. But I feel that if you want to talk about teams that have improved drastically and quickly, 100 Thieves is another one. So 100 Thieves is going to take this.
Look, I'm going
to the dark side.
I'm going to the dark
Come
side.
to the dark
I think it's
side.
going to be Sentinels, and here's why. We just watched FaZe, a team that plays a similar style, just relying on individual players to just kind of bum rush teams, catch them off guard. I think that's where the meta is currently trending. And also, I kind of want to see that game. I want to see Sentinels versus FaZe. I want to just literally see them go like this, round after round after round, and run into each other. So part of me is hoping that that's going to be the case, but we do have our casters standing by. This time it's going to be Doug and Riv to dive into the action. Take it away.
Oh, my dear friend Riv. Okay, you've been
Let's
in
go.
the game. You've been in the game a long time. I need you to think about your career.
Okay.
And has there ever been a time you've been more excited for the desk to throw to you so you can get into the game?
It would have to be Songnam Stadium when we were doing Worlds out there in Korea. You know, in front of all those people. Like, these games have so much impact to define how things are being played right now, what teams look like within a pressure situation in an extended series situation, now like VCT Masters, and we really get to see them pull out all the stops. You can't show your first hand the first day, and we'll have to see if 100 Thieves and Sentinels here have strats to keep on going and not fold so quickly.
It's getting good. It's getting good. I know I was just, you know, while Bach was breaking things down, I'm like a kid, Christmas morning. You know, I'm awake for way too many hours waiting to be able to go downstairs so I can get to the presents. And this match, this is the present. This is what we've been waiting for. And it's a present for all of us, right? Like, the storylines that have been building up until this moment are about to come to a head. And, I mean, what more could you ask for? Sentinels, 100 Thieves. You know, for both of these squads, they get here in some instances, in relatively easy fashion, right? 100 Thieves, 2-0 over Immortals, and yes, Ascent went the distance, but Haven was far more convincing. And then for Sentinels, they walked away with the 2-1. The one map that they did lose was Split. That went to overtime as well, but the other two maps were pretty convincing.
Absolutely, and the history says 2-1 in favor of 100 Thieves here. If you're looking at that throughout everything they've gone through, roster changes for both teams, so you're almost looking at it fresh here as they now go to compete against each other. And if you add the JBL Quantum Cup in there, Sentinels did find a 2-2 on the record, but they've always been close, neck and neck in these matches. And Ascent is one of the best for both teams. I cannot wait to see this battle.
Well, and you know, as we continue to look into that a bit more, think about the last time these two teams played, right? Challengers closed qualifier 2.
Yep.
Sentinels kind of gives it to 100 Thieves pretty dirtily, right? A 13-4 on Haven, a 13-6 on Ascent. The next time we see 100 Thieves, it's a new roster.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Kiko not going to do that. But watching even the footage from in Masters here for 100 Thieves, A is the word. Going there, making sure Hiko gets the Sova ult orbs right away. Looking at their match previously in Masters, Hiko had ult by round 4 with a few kills to boot on top of that to make it a little bit easier than just grabbing orbs. So a big focus there. And we saw Tens when they were playing on defense on Ascent, pushing that area quite a bit. A main control is always big, and I think even more so coming into this match here.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And, you know, I think on the other side, we take a look at 100 Thieves, and the desk mentioned him, but I want to talk about him just a bit more. It's Nitro. Nitro on the Sage, too. Riv, like, Nitro's having himself an excellent tournament. You look across the board at the
and
players.
Even back to challengers a bit, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's just been, since the guy had a kid, somehow just is, like, reaching deep into the depths of superhuman power. And he's just been out of control. And the thing is, Riv, it's not.
He can take care of everybody on the team now as Sage.
He's just dad. And the thing is, it's not just his gunplay, right? Like, we know Nitro's a filthy shot.
Yep. Yeah,
but
Potter talked about it.
You see the versatility, right? Like the willingness to be innovative with the way he's playing Sage. He can use her as a battle Sage. He can come up with really cheeky wall angles to go ahead and get sightlines that you wouldn't normally have. I think he's putting on a masterclass on Sage in this tournament.
Absolutely. And we talk about 100 Thieves, and you have to look at Sentinels. As always, such a strong team individually. They talked about Sick on the desk. They talked about Tens on the desk. You can't not talk about Tens right now. And Dapper himself, he's had an amazing tournament so far, holding sights down by himself to make sure the team can get there and make the pressure play. And Zoms, with his regular 2-3 Ks, and Zoms Nation up in arms, sending the energy because he is holding down sights so well. This is going to be a hell of a match, Doug. We're about to get into round 1 to see what this best of 3 can deliver.
100 Thieves starting off on the attack, starting off as a bunch towards the B side of the map. We'll see how they choose to play this out. Good. Oh, man. So that's something that actually I want to keep a close eye on. We're going to talk about a lot. That slow orb with the grenade combo is so devastating, Riv.
Yeah, finding it in those little choke points where you know people are going to have to either show themselves to get out or relieve themselves of that position entirely is going to give you a lot of room. Already into mid here, 100 Thieves is trying to pressure quite quick. That spike's going to be working its way slowly through Garage. Once Market makes its move, that's when the hit's going to be coming in. And the drone's still going to be first as they're getting halted a little bit here by Sentinels.
Yeah, the smoke just had just a sliver, right? And they were able to see through that and pick off a couple of members of 100 Thieves. An excellent start from Sentinels. And Riv, you saw, we highlighted him at the beginning. Nitro with the wall up across the mid, ensuring that nobody's coming in from the defender spawn to take that area of the map, forcing them into the defender spawn, into B. But from there, you would think, okay, they've got that, right? They can funnel that off, but there was just so much that went through that smoke that 100 Thieves couldn't handle.
That's big. That sliver of the smoke, the intensity of the play being at speed. Sometimes you don't get that click right, and Sentinels find the flaw there. Now they're going to go for that A main control, making sure that no easy orbs are grabbed. Yeah, instantly comboing a few bits of utility to gain ground there. So info already grabbed. They don't know about Gelato just yet, but Sentinels can now start making an informed decision on how they want to play this defense.
And you know, Riv, Sick. Oh, man, Ethan and Asuna, they got messed up. And then the judge from Tens getting the first one on to steal. We mentioned Asuna was also still pretty weak as they try to figure out how do they get past the defenses from Sentinels here.
I mean, they have everything they need on this eco. Beautiful job as they're still trying to taunt Cat here. Sick comes up with 2 quick ghost kills, and Shazam's going to look to finish one in Sobroza's position. There's one for him, and here comes Sick to finish this one off. Jumping Judge. Now Dapper's going to get that one. A pretty quick and easy cleanup round for Sentinels. They do lose Tens, not too much econ damage, and we'll see what 100 Thieves now has for the first gun round. Already, Hiko again 3 away from that ult, and he's going to be heading over to that right side. He may get one with him, but no, it's okay. So the first time we saw them, it was all A. And even the Ascent maps we've seen today have been all A, and they seem to be changing it up a bit. It could be that 2-man team though to get the orb for Hiko. We'll see if it definitely eventually pans out rather.
You're absolutely right, Rafe. I was going to draw attention to that, but you see how they've really changed their focus. The game plan that they are bringing into this match is different from what we've seen them use before. They're fighting so much more for B control, but it's really the middle of the map that they're looking to expose. 3 rounds now where they try to make something happen here before they go elsewhere.
Sentinels doing an early stack at B before they fan back out into regular defense. But they still have both of their finding utility on rotation. You can see Dapper and Shazam floating between sites. Now they're kind of taking hold of Market on that crossfire as Ethan opens one up. A first blood coming from the Omen here on 100 Thieves.
I think another thing that'll be interesting to keep an eye on is we've seen 100 Thieves play, the emphasis that they place are on playing through ult orbs, right? Like get them into the most valuable hands as possible. But if you're looking to expose the middle of the map, it's not there.
They're making a slow move for that to start now. Cutting off the crossfire. Nitro wants the 1v1. Feeling confident. He's had such a good fight for himself, but it's not going to work. They break the wall immediately, and Shazam gets the best of that trade. Shazam's ready for the paranoia, ready to call in the cavalry here to come over towards the A site, and he starts hearing footsteps as they begin the initiation. Steel
has gotten onto the site. He's going to get the spike down. For now, while slightly, it seems like 100 Thieves have control of the site. They're an excellent post plant as well. They have decent control, at least enough to be close by. Asuna is for tree, but the paranoia comes out. 10's dashing in. He's got a judge in his back pocket. The turret's there and steal. 100 Thieves across the board just mows Sentinels down.
And it was a round of feeling them out, right? You have that mid-take. Sage wall is a pretty big dedication. If you see that wall going up, you expect a few more people to be there. The slow walk to Cat, there was so much room for 100 Thieves to grab. They were basically up. Steel was planting in the site before the rotation came in and the full idea of what 100 Thieves was doing there. So they take their time on that third gun round, and they're going into the fourth round, 2-1 in favor of Sentinels.
I need to blow something up.
Looks like 10's going to have the Blade Storm. Yep, there it is. He uses it right off the bat. There's that nade and slow combo that we touched on. But you see, Riv, like the emphasis that Sentinels are placing on A, and you wonder how much of that was work that was done prior in anti-stratting to see how they want to play that. They invested the paranoia down A long. They're sending Phoenix out there as well, but Hiko's playing back. There's nothing that's given away.
And it seems known, right? Knowing you as a team are setting a precedent is one of the ways you don't get caught. And 100 Thieves are playing much differently towards that side of the ult orb that was focused. Like I said, Hiko had ult coming into round 4 on their previous match here in Masters on Ascent. Just a minute left in this round. Looks like we got guns on both sides, and they are playing it quite slow. Mid to split the map once again is the deal. Remember, it was Nitro putting the wall up here to get one of the rounds, and now they're actually probably going to work off of this with the rest of the team going up towards Cap.
But it may be a bait. I think the other interesting thing, okay, so Sick goes in aggressive, understands that that's likely where they're going to want to hit. They drop 10s on the swing. He's not going to get a chance to do anything, but Zoms is. As he gets a second one as well, the spike goes down. You see them all starting to rotate over. They can squat on that, understanding where the play's coming from. But run it back has been used. Sick goes in, doesn't get anything. Zoms still there. He's going to drop to Nitro as well. Nitro just continues to go off Riv, a 2v2, as they try to get onto A.
Nitro and Hiko, who would the fans want up more? Well, it looks like Shazam on the side of Sentinels. Hiko dives in to find one, and he thinks he's got a bit of room to work with, but Dapper is always on the lurk. He is going to be able to finalize that kill for Sentinels, and that is a 3-1 scoreline to start us off here, and we'll see how 100 Thieves get into this one. There's the Sheriff that you'll always see Steel buy-in as Six starts this one off nice. Ethan has had a lot of confidence going towards Cat here, so big ups to Zoms to be able to just shut that one down there.
Yeah, and I think the middle of the map too, right? We've talked about it, and I was starting to wonder what are Sentinels going to do to address that area of the map, because you can't leave it open. Right? If the wall's going to keep going up from Nitro, how do you adjust around that? And there we saw an adjustment, and look, we're seeing one now here too. Look at how far 10's is up, how far up 10's is here.
Back to gun round. I was going to say, we need a few more rounds to see this, but it's not usual that you see 100 Thieves being prevented from at least getting into that spike site, having Steel on a really lurky flank and making problems for the other team. Here, it just seems like they're getting snuffed out quickly. Sentinels then backs up, plays a little zone defense, if you will, on their sites, and there's nothing more that 100 Thieves can do until they feel out again where that threat might be. Good res coming from Nitro. They even out the balance here for round 5. And where do they go now?
And you can tell with that investment, 100 Thieves really looking to get the ball rolling here and take a round. No presence across the middle of the map here, really, for either squad.
Yeah.
As it looks like they're trying to work their way into tree. Zoms is there. Couple of smokes coming out, understanding that after as much time has passed with only 38 seconds left, there's a good chance that's where the hit's going to be. Hiko using the Hunter's Fury to clear out that area of the map as his team tries to get in. Asuna gets the first one onto Zoms. Sick, excuse me. Now Shazam's in a great spot to blow it up. It's Shazam who's already good for 2. Steel manages to get through. He's going to drop in the spikes up there too, Riv. Things have gone so sideways for 100 Thieves.
Hiko trying to save this one. Clutch Master coming in. 2v1 situation. Sees one towards screens, and Shazam has had everyone's number this game. There's nothing that's getting past him. And it was there so quick. A note you want to get out for 100 Thieves there. They are one of the teams that uses ults in combination more than not, more than any other team. Here we see that Omen from the shadows along with the Sova Hunter's Fury, and Sentinels reacted perfectly. Able to just shut it down and not be too scattered.
And that, my friends, is going to put 100 Thieves on a pistol, right? Like sheriffs across the board, a couple of ghosts maybe, but certainly not what you want to bring into this round. So far, you know, it's early, it's only the first map, but this really has been rather impressive by Sentinels, how they've already made adjustments, how they clearly did their homework, and even through 100 Thieves kind of changing things up a bit, Sentinels have still managed to keep it at bay.
And those rounds, you expect to win, right? You have 2 ultimates going out, you're forced to an eco now, and Sentinels is feeling much more hot on pushing out to get these kills. Hiko's going to take down Sick, though, so they may be able to pick up a weapon as Zom's trying to cover those at the moment. 3v2 situation, and this one got a little more hairy than I think Sentinels would have liked as they pushed out, getting a little loose in that play. But sometimes you got to send a message. Sentinels is doing a great job here from the defending side to shut down 100 Thieves so far. Hiko and Steel still alive, and that's a possibility to take this round for 100 Thieves.
I mean, a slim one, but yes, a possibility nonetheless. You look at Hiko, 55 health, Steel with 32, and I don't think they've had a chance to upgrade weapons. They also have a decent idea of where they are, and that just went from really bad to worse. Hiko's left alone. All he's got is a ghost. What he doesn't have is health. He drops at the hands of Shazam, the player who you highlighted just a round or really 2 ago, where he has really been an enormous difference maker. And Riv, the dude's 7-1 right now.
Honestly, feeling it. We saw Sick. I mean, Shazam still had his rounds. You can't cut him out. He always comes up with the 2-3 Ks, but he still has these performances as the in-game leader as well, Doug. We hear that all the time, but it really is taxing to be making the calls, feeding info, and then conducting yourself in an instant to be on top of the play. Shazam is absolutely killing it, and it's why he's regarded as one of the best in-game leaders in there.
All right, now keep an eye for 100 Thieves. Given how this half is gone, they have, oh no, Sick understanding that that's where it may come. He's going to swing out. He's got the curveball, understanding that there's likely pressure coming from 100 Thieves because they have the lockdown, because they have the showstopper out of Asuna. They push into where they expect that aggression to come, but it's actually the middle of the map again. Much like the pistol, the paranoia, the wall, Asuna doesn't get a chance to use the showstopper. As soon as he brings it online, he gets ripped down. 10 still trying to stay alive. He's got the Blade Storm. He's not going to be able to use it either. Ethan trades it out and equalizes things at 4 apiece.
Dapper is still looking through the wall. He could have a decent flank coming in here if he chooses mark it in just a few. The rest of Sentinels is held off. And 100 Thieves are working this one quite slow right now. Sick coming up with 2 during the chaos of Hunter's Fury. There's the run it back into the site. He's going to see one Boathouse, but focus on the spike. What a choice for the 3K there. Coming from Sick on the Phoenix. Now it's Nitro in the back of Boathouse. A rough one here as he throws down the heal pack, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this one alive as they pinch him from all sides.
No, there's really, I mean, no options, right? At that point, they smell it, they swarm around him, they take him out. He was just kind of trapped back there. And again, Riv, 100 Thieves, they were stacked up along B first, right? Sick pushes in aggressively, forces them to reconsider, and then they actually go to exploit the middle of the map, and it looked good. Right, the wall went up. There was no resistance there. The paranoia, in case someone was in market, there wasn't. Yeah. And that was their moment of entry. Asuna with the showstopper, looking to crack the side open and give them room to breathe, and just flat right off the board. I cannot stress the impact of that kill.
This is going to be a really good time to have that lockdown. Shazam is 5 away from having his ultimate, so it's going to be really tough for him to even be able to do anything to get that away. They don't have raise nades, and Molly hard to find there. So we'll see how they work it. It was towards beat to start here, but getting that lockdown up in that A cubby is really effective. It's kind of a choice right now, and they're waiting to see if there's a push, what utility is used. Quite a bit of patience. A tactical pause as well as I'm looking down at the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is they're going to come in with nothing, right? Like as far as weaponry goes. So you're not going to have full rifles. You imagine
right.
This round is just going to be so difficult to win just because of that point.
Yeah.
And it's interesting with that in mind. 100 Thieves have historically shown they have no problem pulling a trigger on something like this, right? If they can get one pick, maybe it's on 10s with the op, then they have the confidence that they feel like they can invest into it, but it all really like hangs on the balance of at least one. They've got to get one.
Fake TP as Ethan tries to draw a little bit of attention now towards that A main. So 3 stay, spike towards the other side of the site. So this 100 Thieves now trying to kind of work through a window as Sick pushes up through B main, usually where they have the turret, but it's going to be on their side of the map here. That costs them 1. Asuna goes down. Where do they go from here? Spike's still going to be working that left side. They may try to do a late work towards B here if they can find enough utility, or at least who is at A covering.
You know, maybe, and it's just so risky, right? But if they full send A, draw everything off, then Steel's there with the lockdown, it might be good for something, but Zoms is just left unchecked. Riv, Tens gets one from up in heaven as well with the operator. Oh! And then there was the last one, right? A flawless round out of Sentinels. They're clicking on all cylinders, and 100 Thieves, they've given different looks, right? They've tried B, they've mainly leaned on the middle of the map. They even tried A in that round as well, back to what they had done historically. Nothing's working.
Sick continues to do that round after round. We saw it previously in their game on Ascent, where he was hiding behind Jenny, got a few kills, flashes the entire team, and then just right-clicks Cypher running at him to take him down. He's so good in a tight spot, and one of the things about Sick is he is an anchor. He's a huge anchor. If Dapper's rotating to give more util and info into the site, Sick is still guarding that site. He was at B forever, and it counted big for Sentinels there.
All right, so check this out, right? Sentinels have pushed B aggressively the last couple of rounds. Steel has an op, right? It looks like he's looking across the middle of the map now, but early on it looked like he was reading for that, expecting that aggression out of Sentinels. Keep a close eye on that. We'll see if he's able to get any value out of it. Meanwhile, there is a dueling operator on the other side in the hands of Tens, locking down anything that could be headed towards B. Once again, it's going to be the middle of the map exploited from 100 Thieves, but you got to convert. Right, you've got to make something happen out of that. If you can have mid-map all you want, if you can't make anything out of it, what's the point?
If this is the round, it's going to happen if it does. They've chosen the perfect one. You already have Zoms pushed all the way back to Wine, so he's going to have difficulty rotating unless he ults right out, which could cause chaos, but you get an ult out. They choose not to because it might be too quiet there. They're going to call an audible. They're going to go towards Cat. Hiko's going to dart over here, and he might just meet Zoms a little earlier than he likes as he heads into Wine. This could be the drone to start, and there it is.
This is scary, Riff, because Sentinels, by process of elimination, have a really good idea of where the hit's going to come, and then the lockdown there confirms everything. They're going to funnel onto the site. Asuna, one of the first ones there.
Ethan waiting in mid. Is he going to see Tiles? He looks back right at the right time. Back and forth. Ten's able to trade with the off, but Asuna coming up huge there. And the kills are just a flurry in the site. Spike's going to be able to get planted now. Asuna, Hiko, and Ethan versus Dapper. What an execute onto the site. They didn't like mid. They feel it out towards A, and they actually capture Sentinels spread out enough to take a good post plant here. Let's see what Dapper can do.
I mean, the thing is, Dapper has so much money, so much money. He could afford to try something like that. But obviously it doesn't pan out. That's a very difficult 1vx, especially after post plans have already been assumed. So for 100 Thieves, we mentioned the importance for them to need to get something going. Yeah. And I think the important thing, Riv, is they did so by only investing one ultimate. Right? You still have the Hunter Suri, you still have the Res, and Ethan and Asuna both 1 point away from getting theirs online. 100 Thieves are at a position here where they can really snowball and make this a very competitive half.
Dapper varying up the sites he's playing. Now with 2 traps on that tree area where we've seen 100 Thieves go a few times, they want to ensure that's not what happens. It's been hard to retake now for Sentinels on the rounds they have gotten in, and they're just stopping any bleeding if they think it's going to start from there. Again, feeling out mid here for 100 Thieves. And they do have good ultimates on this round. Ethan and Asuna 1 away. They're both on deck to get something out here, and they're going to start pushing mid now with the smoke in to see if they get any potential push coming out of Sentinels to see what's in mid.
Where the Sentinels also saw the spike with the drone there going through, so you know, you really, that's such a telegraph of what 100 Thieves are looking to do and the default that they've been running the last couple of times. And with that, you see Sentinels are still just staying home, right? You haven't seen them shuffle a lot. Now they're making a good bit of noise around tree.
This trap read coming in from Dapper could be so big. I mean, it could be a blast pack and they're gone, right? Once they feel like something's there. But these traps being moved could really set up a big problem Wall going out. They're not going to be able to do much with that.
So when the wall goes up and the paranoia comes out and they see that nobody's coming, look at how quickly they start funneling back towards B, understanding that that's not where the hit is. You're running out of time. Tens is already there waiting with open arms as he takes care of Steel. 100 Thieves, again, they're looking to make something happen across the map, and Sentinels have just been reading them like a book.
Yeah, looking for that mid flank again. It was almost in the same spot. Zombs again, the back of the site. Sick, a 3K. What's new? And Sentinels are shutting down 100 Thieves. 8-2 here in the first half. And this is a strong, strong defense.
And Riv, I think the impressive thing for me, again, has been how Sentinels are reading 100 Thieves. Right? That wall goes up, and that's not a new wall. Nitro showed that wall a couple of days ago. And as soon as that goes up, you saw the paranoia come out, because that's a hey, we want to hit into tree, we want to get back towards A and blow something up through heaven, like they actually tried doing a couple of rounds ago, where Steel died with the spike up in heaven. But as soon as that goes up and there's no pressure, it's told. Here's a very interesting bit of aggression out of Sick, using the run it back, clearing out everything, and he gets the kill. There's so much value there.
Nitro peeked it. That would have almost been the crossfire. I think they were just off by a few feet there. Drone's going to see 10's down to 10 HP here, so Sentinel's taking a hit. That's exactly what 100 Thieves needed after losing Nitro. And the push-up's going to make Dapper know what's in mid. Uzi's got to fight. The trade comes in from over the shoulder. Steel's able to take down Dapper in a 2v1.
Big kill there, too.
Wow.
And it seems to be getting better. Asuna takes care of Shazam. The spike hanging out over in Wine. They're going to flip them. They're not going to flip the map. Okay. Well, there's just a lot of info that's gathered there, but at this point, they're kind of committed. Asuna Showstopper connects. The Hunter Fury is going to be used from Hiko as well to clear out Heaven. But Tens, man, fancy footwork, and he gets the kill. With 10 health, continuing to be a nuisance, and Steel again on the flank, he might blow this thing up. You've got Hiko, and you've got Asuna. Well, you had Hiko, and you had Asuna, and they're not around any longer. Sentinels once again. 7 rounds, Riv. If I told you this morning, if I told you this morning that this is what the first half was going to consist of, would you have believed me?
Absolutely not. You see a padding of 2 or 3 rounds for either team, and they iterate. The opposing team iterates. They're doing something different. The round's taken slower. They're drawing util. And 100 Thieves is doing all that. But we're still seeing, as you said, the aim just on point for Sentinels. And then what do you do after that? If it feels like nothing is working, you kind of work as a death ball, move around, and make sure you get the kill. Here we see just about everyone on 100 Thieves now focusing A with a 3-2 split.
No charges left.
And this is what we saw out of 100 Thieves, a notable amount, really, when we saw them play Ascent last time, where they looked to expose a lobby, where they try to get something going this way, even if just to get the ult orbs. So it looks like they're kind of going back to what they know. But the thing is, they're putting a lot in the hands of Asuna here. He's one of the few. Guns being traded around. Ethan's got a rifle as well. Dapper, one of the first lines of defense. Excellent paranoia. Oh. My goodness. Sitting ducks, Riv.
3 out of 5. Patience, Doug. It's all the patience that Sentinels has right now. They're just waiting for 100 Thieves to cross their aim. Make contact. Here it is. Steel doing what he can. Feeling pretty good. He's going to say, you got to come to me if you want to make it happen for now. Oh, he's going to challenge it. Shazam says, I'm more than happy to come on in there with the Odin. Taking down Steel. He's got a celebratory rip of the magazine there. And Sentinels now take first half 10-2 on our first map. This is the map selected by 100 Thieves, with Sentinels taking defense first.
I mean, what a performance out of Sentinels, right? And this is the matchup we were also excited for. Both teams have different rosters. 100 Thieves has their play style that they love to lean into, where they're very methodical and they're very intelligent in how they play the map. And then you've got Sentinels on the other side who've got some of that flavor, right? A little spice, a little salsa to the way that they play. And we were so excited about the matchup. And Sentinels so far, I mean, dude, 100 Thieves have had nothing.
It seems like uncertainty. Take that moment where Dapper was able to get the collat double kill, or even just the transfer that was very close there. Both were strafing back and forth out of the smoke. You know, there's no one to take the advantage. There's no trade within that back and forth of shadowing each other. It becomes very difficult. So it just seems like uncertainty, a little miscommunication there on a bit of timing. But even if there isn't, again, Sentinels is just coming out on top with these frags. Ethan putting up one here for pistol round. He's going to get that first blood on the Zoms. Shazam answers back to even it up, Doug, and now we're at 4v4.
Dapper having a decent idea of where Nitro is too. Dapper certainly weak. Excellent flash just in the nick of time. Sick comes out of nowhere to open things up, but Asuna says he can do a bit of the same. Shazam takes care of him as he continues to funnel onto the site. Clean shots again, dude. He's already got 3 on the round. Might even get more, yeah. What a round by Sentinels.
Man's a genie. That's ridiculous.
Now, I will say this, Rev. If there is a silver lining in this for 100 Thieves, it's this. The experience that this roster has, right? Not just in VALORANT, really across their entire careers, lends itself for them to have the ability to respond to adversity in a moment like this, right? Like, they've been here. They've been here at many times. How do they respond?
That's a very good question. Honestly, a very good question, because you're playing against momentum, confidence. Like what Sentinels has been doing in some of the rounds is sending, as I said, sending that message by pushing out a little bit, knowing they've gone too far outside their bounds, and backing up to still take the round, but creating so much pressure each time. So Sentinels, from defense, what they were doing now on offense, had such a ridiculous variety that it felt like, you know, 100 Thieves almost had to have a B and a C to every strat that they were coming in with. So here on defense, you see how much they're playing the close angles, Bucky's in hand, and patience. They're trying to make that their win here, as Sentinels did a few times on defense for them.
Tens with Marshall just narrowly missing out on that shot. But, you know, I think in this moment with 100 Thieves having the guns that they have, I love how they're playing this, right? They've got a good bit of utility as Sentinels funnel into A, and here's Steel. We've seen Steel with the Bucky man. We saw it just before the series started, how devastating he can be with it. Narrowly missing the first time, not missing the second, but Shazam once again is there. It seems like Sentinels at all times are together.
Yeah. And think about that, Doug. You take a Steel for a tens. That'll happen on the round, and I think 100 Thieves is feeling pretty good about that takedown here. The rest of the team's moving about. Dapper already around the side as we saw him creeping the whole time. The man just finds the lurk path each time. Zom's taking down Nitro, and now it's going to be the rotation here from Ethan as he finds Dapper here in market.
Yikes. All of the eye candy you could possibly want. Ethan eventually falls. It was nearly unwinnable of a situation there, and now we've got Sentinels at match point, 12-2 on Ascent. It's been a beautiful performance from Sentinels. They've surgically picked 100 Thieves apart on both sides of the map now, and look, even if it's not just how well they've played the map, how well they've read their opponents, when you've got Dapper doing things like we just saw a few moments ago, I mean, what do you do?
Not a whole lot. Because you've probably already faced tens in the round, sick in the round, and you're like, well, we might have beaten some of the raid bosses, but wait, there's another one at the end of this, so it's really, really tough. Sentinels is playing out of their minds at the moment. Everybody doing well behind. 6 Zoms, 10s up front. And there's 10s to start it off once again. That's the first blood as we get into round 15, a possible last round. They get into the site, run it back here for Sick as 100 Thieves has just run for the hills on this one to try and get the retake in. Six already going to call that there's a few heaven, and Sentinels know even more now.
That's excellent swing there from 100 Thieves. I like the patience out of Nitro, ensuring that is indeed where the hit's going to go. The spike's gone down. Now he's going to pull off. Zom's in a great spot here. There's no flank coming through from the middle of the map, so for 100 Thieves, they're just going to have to fight their way through this thing. Asuna already good for one with the Stinger. And the thing is that the gun advantage is so heavily in favor of Sentinels here, you kind of imagined it's pretty difficult for them to pull this off, and you're seeing it play out, right? Hiko's good for one, but that's it. A 13-2 on Ascent. Riv, if that's not a statement made I don't know what is.
Wow, Doug, that is not what I expected to see today coming in for 100 Thieves Sentinels. You know, everybody has their games where they can pop off. And in this one, we expected that to happen for some people. It goes back and forth. You see the rounds couple for each team, but to dominate that hard coming this late into the tournament when every team is kind of locked and loaded to start using all of their strategies is very impressive. A lot of the times we saw 100 Thieves having control in mid, control of cat. There'd be somebody in tiles that would rip it all apart, and there was always someone lurking. Dapper there, whether it was tens, that took 100 Thieves apart.
And you know, we touched on this. The members on Sentinels are insanely talented from just like a gun skill perspective, but they also showed that that wasn't the only way that they win, right? That wasn't the only way that they play.
Yeah.
We saw, even again with the recent addition of tens to the roster, their ability to read the map and to play it as well as they did, and to, you know, kind of go tit for tat with what 100 Thieves was doing and respond well. Oftentimes you'll see teams like that when they're playing from not from a proactive perspective, but from a reactive one. They're normally late to the play, right? Like they're a bit behind. How many times did we see 100 Thieves on the attack flip the map just to have someone like tens waiting or sick waiting, right? It was beautiful.
Yeah, they were always ready for those situations. And to kind of see 100 Thieves not do a lot of their fake strats or kind of orb focus, I think they may have gotten in their own heads that we need to change up the precedent we have set for so long that that's what we do. And sometimes that gets you discombobulated. Sometimes Sentinels just runs the game on you. And I think that's what we saw in the first map here.
Haven up next, folks. We're going to cut to a break. When we return, the desk will break down what we saw in map 1. Don't go anywhere.